Okay, in this mini rough guide to the basics of Power Director, where I'm starting is right at the beginning, really, and this section is entitled Before You Start, because this is the very first thing you should do before you even contemplate starting a project. In other words, before you start filming or recording a video. And if I just look on my desktop here at this bunch of files that I've collected, the most important one to begin with is this one, which is marked, it's a little text document which I've marked script. Now I'll just open it up because when I say script, what I'm really talking about is an outline, because all it is a bunch of small notes in bullet point form, just to remind me of some of the things that I need to be taken in consideration when I'm recording my video. So if I'm doing a straight narration in a video, in other words, just recording a game, for example, and talking over the top of it, I've got to remember to mention these things. Now, it's important you make a little note like this of these things you've got to remember, because when you're talking in a game video, when you're doing a commentary, you get caught up in the whole thing that's going on with the game, and by the time you've ended up finishing recording, you suddenly remember, oh, I forgot to mention this, or I forgot to mention that, and by that time it's too late, particularly if you've recorded your audio on the same track as your video. In other words, you've got a video with your commentary in it as one file. You can't go back and correct it afterwards, which is a good point for recording your video and audio separately, but that's a different topic altogether. So it's always a good idea to start off with just a little list like this. It doesn't have to be big and it doesn't have to be complicated, and calling it a script is probably over exaggerating its importance. It is just a few bullet points just to remind you of things you've got to mention when you're doing your video. And the sort of things you might mention, for example, is what version of the game you're playing. If the game's just been updated, people like to know that. The mission that you're undertaking or map you're undertaking. And you may end up at the end mentioning what you're going to be doing in your next video, or giving a shout out to your friends, because people like to hear the names mentioned. Okay, so this is before you begin, write yourself just a little outline of what you intend to do so you don't forget.